Whew, okay, I woke up this morning just feeling like I needed to get this out. I needed to speak this out. So I've been playing with like shifting wording a little bit. So I've talked about that before, just shifting perspectives a little bit, just little tweaks, and the little like tiny little changes that I'm making have had such like huge profound impact on my life. And so this is one of them, and it actually was inspired from one of the tarot readers that I listened to on YouTube. She said something about this the other day, and it spurred this on. But I feel it like it's another thing that has just like completely changed everything for me. It just completely changed the game for me. Because I feel like that's all that this is anyways. It's like one big game that we play. And we just, there's all these roles. And anyways, so back to the game. So transit-wise, we have been in the gate of limitations for a very, very, very long time. Like, oh my goodness, like I'm trying to like really remember like the time frame here. We've been in the gate of limitations, I know, for like well over a year, and it's been transiting through like all of the planets. Like it's kind of made an appearance in a lot of different areas of our lives for the last like, I even want to say like it's been longer than a year. It may have even been like a couple of years, or even longer. God, I really cannot remember that time frame for the life of me, and I've studied this hardcore. But anyways, I guess it just doesn't fucking matter. But regardless, though, the gate of limitations, which is gate 60, it's been transiting Pluto for a very, very, very long time. Now, Pluto is something that, obviously like the energy is not going to be like as in your face as like if it was transiting through the sun. But Pluto is very slow moving. It's very methodical. And it's always there. It's always like something that's just running in the background. And it's also the planet that's going to cause the most like deepest, long-lasting transformation within you. And also, since it's transiting Pluto not only within you, but within all of humanity. So think about it. We've been so fucking limited just as humans for years and years and years and years. But I would go to say like even more limited, like the obviously like it was like the big shift in 2020, right? But anyways, where I'm getting at with this is I'm changing my wording on this a little bit. So I feel like when people say work within your limitations, that feels like just almost like too confining for me. And it also feels frustrating. It also like brings up a lot of other emotions that just kind of make me feel like a little bit exasperated. Like, okay, so I'm just supposed to work within these limitations. Like, work with your limitations. Like, you are so fucking limited. And I'm just going to use money as an example, because I feel like that is something that we place these beliefs on, right? That we are like limited by not having enough money to do what we want. That's a big one. Okay, that was a big one. It's not so much anymore since I've made these shifts, but that was huge. Like, I would want to do things, but then feel so limited. And then I would hear people say like, well, work with your limitations, work within those limitations. Okay, like if you don't have money, then what do you have? And to me, that's like the most frustrating fucking thing to hear, especially when you're like, but I actually need money for this, you fucking hoe. You know, like, stop telling me this. Like, I actually need these things. Like, for example, I quit creating in Doris Jean, my Etsy shop. Like, I quit putting things out there. I quit creating, period, because I was getting so frustrated because it was like, you know, okay, like I've made a lot of sales, and surprisingly, my biggest selling item was this digital workbook that I created years ago. Like, I created it in 2019. And it's a shadow workbook. That was when I was like super heavy into doing that. That was like, you know, a new concept for me at that time. And so it's like I made myself this workbook. And what's funny about it is like I made it for myself, but then I never even used it. That's the funniest part about it. Like I had all intention of like that's the whole reason why I created it. But then like I threw it up in my Etsy shop, and I've sold hundreds of copies. Like that's like the biggest selling thing I've ever done. Like probably the most successful thing that I've created, as far as like, you know, monetizing something. Like I made thousands of dollars off of that. Like it's fucking crazy. Now it wasn't all at once. It was over like years of just selling it kind of like consistently. Like it was just one of those things where like I would sell like multiple a day, or in the very least, at least like one a day. Obviously that's slowed down now because things have shifted. But anyways, let's use that as an example of creating for Doris Jean. I also used to make, like, I used to have so much fun, like, making little perfumes. Like, I was actually really, really good at, don't know how, but just, like, putting scents together and things like that. And, like, I used to make all of these, like, new moon and full moon elixirs. And you know, I even had, like, my own body care line for a while. Like, oh my God, I've done so much stuff. I just had so much fun creating. And at that time, when I was doing that and working in that, we didn't have all of these like print on demand, you know, like making things way easier to where like, you know, you didn't even have to buy supplies. Like you could go through like, you know, one of these print on demand places and not have to purchase that stuff up front. And, you know, they would do it all for, you know, we didn't have that back then, you know, like back when I was doing this, like if you wanted to create something, like you had to find like a supplier, you had to buy, your supplies in bulk, which costs money. And if you want good quality shit, it's going to cost a lot of money. And, you know, it was like, as just a small business, you know, I wasn't generating a lot of income from this. And it's like it got to the point where I just couldn't afford to buy the supplies anymore up front, because, you know, like a lot of times is like you would buy these supplies to like make things, but you could be sitting on it for months, you know, before like you even, you know, began to make your money back. So it's like, you know, really it's like you're losing money. Like you're just, it's a whole thing. And, so like I just felt like I had to quit. Like I had to quit making stuff because I just couldn't afford supplies. And especially like with it taking so long to sell certain things that I was making and like needing these supplies for, I just felt like I couldn't continue. And, you know, and so it's like when you're in that and you hear somebody tell you like, work with those limitations, it's pretty fucking annoying, you know, because it's like, okay, but I need this stuff and I need money to get it, but I just don't have it on the forefront. And so anyways, you see how frustrating that shit is. But you have everything you need. Work with what you have. Be grateful for what you have. Ugh, no. So anyways, I've shifted, am shifting that verbiage a little bit, because to me, work with your limitations pisses me off. But if I just switch it, tweak it, tiniest little microscopic bit into work in your limitations, and also patience inside the limitations, because guess what? Patience paid off. I never shut down my shop. I continued actually working in the limitations where I didn't have money to create things in that way anymore that I had been used to creating them. I had access to Canva. I worked on Canva for months, years. I've always had some sort of social media management job, or gigs on the side that have made me extremely proficient in Canva over the years. And so to where it's now I could go on Canva and create something in less than 5 minutes, and it's not even a big deal. I can just go on and create something so quickly. It takes me no time and very little effort. But it's because that's years of becoming proficient in it and practicing with it and such. So it's here I am this whole time working in the limitations, whereas I didn't have money to purchase things like that anymore, but I had access to Canva. I had time. So it's I start creating more digital products because that's what was selling at the time anyways. It was my shadow work, which is digital. It's a digital instant download. So I started just cranking those out. I started recording hypnosis audios, putting those out there. And I'm not a millionaire from it, but I've made consistent enough sales over the years from that to keep my shop open and pay for my subscription for my website and stuff. So anyways, I've kept my shop open and I never closed it, never really gave up. I took steps back, but never gave up on it. I've always left it open since 2018, even though I haven't been creating much in it, especially lately. But this is where working in the limitations actually is oh yeah, that feels better, working inside of it. Because when you're working in the limitations instead of with, when you're working in the limitations, over time of working inside of those limitations, they kind of cease to become limitations. All you need to do is just continue working in them and be patient. Because now look, it took some years of patience and working in that limitation, but now look what's available to me. And it's because I never actually 100% gave up on that. I just continued working in my current reality, my current circumstances, my current limitations within that. And now look, I'm able to just create whatever I want. I can create even some of the things that I was creating before without having to actually spend any money. Because there's so many options available for these print on demand where I don't have to buy t-shirts and pay for printing ahead of time anymore, because that's what I used to have to do when I was selling sweatshirts and t-shirts before. I'd tried it before, but ultimately it came down to I couldn't afford to purchase stock because I was having to purchase all of those in advance and then just hope that I would made my money back. But who knows when that was going to be. So it's now that I just was working in a limit, it's not even a limitation anymore. So it's like, truly, I feel like it's more about working in the limitation than with it. Like, with it frustrates me. And it's really just another mind trick. And it's like working in the limitation. The more you work in the limitation, eventually it's not even going to be a limitation anymore, because it's like it's hard at first, because it's like, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it like this. But it's like, the more you do it and work in it, the easier it becomes, to the point where you're not even viewing it as hard or difficult or as even a limitation anymore. It's just become normal. And so I love that, because like my tarot reader, oh my God, and I can't remember her name. I think it's like Soul Insights or something like that. Oh, I wish I could, because she's so freaking good. Let me actually, it's Soul Insights and Tarot. That's her channel name on YouTube. She's fabulous. Like, I listen to her all the time. She's got like hundreds of readings. But that is something she brought up, is like, how do you get out of the limitation? Like, how do you break through your limitations? Well, you just have to work in them. You just have to work, that's it. Like, how do you get rid of a limitation? Or how do you like feel, you have to work in it. You have to work in it. And the more you work in that limitation, and you just allow yourself to do that and work in it, really, like, the quicker it dissolves. Because it like I said, it just becomes. And it's just, you get to the point where it's just like not even a thing anymore. That's how you go through limitations. That's how you break through, is by just working in them. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And it was like that little just tweak in words for me just felt so much better. Like, I don't want to work with this shit. Like, we're not fucking, stop that. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why that irritates me, that language. But all right, like let's get to work in it. Let's just hop right in the middle of this shit and just start working in it. And then it's like you just work in it and it just goes away on its own.